Hey friends, Galaxy S24 Ultra versus Google Pixel 8 Pro. To be honest, I've had sleepless nights lately because of this video. These are two such outstandingly good smartphones that it's difficult for me to say there is a clear winner here. But what there is and what I would like to show you today are the advantages and disadvantages that each of the two devices has, so that in the end you can decide for yourself which device will emerge as the winner in the race for you personally. If you have an opinion on this, feel free to write it to me in the comments. And of course, you will find out my personal opinion by the end of this video. I would like to start with the design and workmanship, and that's where the struggle begins. Both devices have a very individual and at the same time high quality design. The Pixel 8 Pro obviously stands out extremely well with its horizontal camera bar. You can see a pixel from 1 kilometer far away, which I personally really like. But the S24 Ultra also stands out with its very angular design and elongated shape. Both manufacturers rely on high quality materials such as matte glass back. The frame of the S24 Ultra uses titanium for the first time, which is said to be more robust and lighter than stainless steel. So I was happy that the S24 Ultra was finally a little lighter, but that wasn't the case. Titanium is lighter than stainless steel, but heavier than aluminum, which is what the frame of the S23 Ultra was made of. Fantastic. The Pixel 8 Pro still uses an aluminum frame, so it is not surprising that the Pixel 8 Pro is a whopping 19 grams lighter than the S24 Ultra. From my perspective, weight plays a big role in whether a smartphone feels good or not so good in the hand. I love the Galaxy S24 Ultra to no end, but after a while it becomes quite heavy when you hold it in one hand. That's why I always really like using finger holders like something like this, and if you can attach it magnetically to the back of the S24 Ultra, all the better. That's why I was very happy that Pitaka has once again released the case for the S24 Ultra with its ultra-thin MagEasy case, which brings MagSafe to your Android smartphone. The case has a magnet on the back to which you can attach all MagSafe compatible accessories such as pop sockets and wallets, as well as card holders. I absolutely love it. In addition, the cases are extremely thin at 1.1 mm and super light, because they are made of aramid fibers, a material used in space travel. This makes the MagEasy cases extremely robust and resistant to impacts and scratches. Since I have an aversion to fingerprints on my smartphone, I am particularly grateful for the matte finish, which not only doesn't give fingerprints a chance, but also gives your slippery smartphone a reasonable grip. Personally, I don't want to live without it anymore, and if you agree, you can save 10% with my code. You can find the link down in the video description. There is a lot of discussion about the processors of the two devices and the associated performance. While there is no doubt that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 built into the S24 Ultra is the best thing money can buy next to Apple processors, things are a little different with the Pixel 8 Pro and its Tensor chip G3. The benchmarks makes Google's own processor look pretty old, but as is often the case, there is a difference between what is on paper and reality. I used both devices as my daily driver, and personally I had no performance problems at all with the Pixel 8 Pro. Neither when editing images nor when switching apps or whatever else you do with your smartphone throughout the day. I can't complain about anything at all from the almost 4 months I've used this device. However, if you hold the S24 Ultra up against it, you will notice that the S24 Ultra is simply even faster and apps and pages load even faster. But that's like comparing a Ferrari with a Bugatti. Both are incredibly fast, even if one is perhaps a bit faster than the other. Does that make a difference in everyday life? Personally, I don't think so. Where there is a noticeable difference, however, is in the battery. Although the Pixel 8 Pro has 50 mAh more battery capacity at 5050 mAh, in my experience it only delivers 50% of the runtime. Here again is a prime example of how what is written on paper has little to do with reality. whereas I can easily get through 2 full days with my Galaxy S24 Ultra at the display on time of 4 hours per day, I have only 1 full day with the Pixel 8 Pro before I had to charge it in the next morning. If I am out and about and only using data and not Wi-Fi, then the Pixel 8 Pro is only good for a day. On the other hand, if someone only really uses their smartphone for 2 to 3 hours a day, the battery on the S24 Ultra will last up to 3 days, and that is incredibly good. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 seems to be at least significantly more energy efficient than the Pixel's Tensor G3. But here, too, the question is for who this is a problem. For example, I always connect my smartphone to the cable in the evenings, regardless of how much battery is left on it. When it comes to the user interface, we have an issue that is absolutely a matter of taste. The operation of the two devices is almost completely identical. Whether you prefer Samsung's One UI or the Pixel's stock Android is, in my opinion, a purely aesthetic question. Many people find Samsung's interface too playful with the colors and rounded icons, while others don't like the Google interface. In terms of content, the services do not differ for the average consumer. Both Samsung and Google have incorporated AI into their current smartphones. And you have to be honest here, Google was the first without any controversy. Samsung then followed suit with the S24 series, and most of the AI features can now be found on both smartphones. What a miracle, since Google provides the basis for Samsung with the Android operating system. Nevertheless, there are a few features that the respective manufacturers obviously want to have exclusively for themselves. For example, image editing is almost identical on both devices. You can delete people and things from photos or change their size and position. With the S24 Ultra, you can also straighten an image and the edges are recalculated using AI. The new slow motion function is also really cool. If you have recorded a video normally and hold it down while playing it, a slow motion will be created from it. Before this function, a normally recorded video would now stutter because the recorded images are played back more slowly. With the S24 Ultra, however, these missing intermediate images are recalculated using AI, which leads to a smooth display. You can then save the slow motion or change the speed. The Pixel, on the other hand, has the best shot function, where you can choose the best shot for each individual person in group photos. I think that's a really cool feature, because if you photograph more than 2 people, one of them always has their eyes closed. That's what the law says. Both devices have the call assistant, which asks the caller the reason for the call, which is very practical if you don't know the number or you are stressed with your partner and you want to hear what they have to say before answering the phone. What the S24 Ultra also comes with is the live translator during a phone call. I have already expressed my enthusiasm about this in my previous videos. Of course, we already know the now very good translator from Google, but the fact that it is now possible in telephone calls has an unimaginable impact, because telephone calls with the whole world are suddenly possible. And that won't be the end of the story either. I'm really looking forward to something like this working even faster and more accurately in the future, and when we can also use it in video conferences, for example. Since it was a joint development, there is now the more than practical circle to search function on both devices, where you can circle what you see on the display and the search results will be shown to you within a second. Because you no longer have to put into words what you are looking for, it completely changes the way you search the internet. Do you actually say circle to searching instead of Googling? Luckily, this doesn't work with faces. Otherwise, I could walk around looking for a stranger standing in front of me, and in one fell swoop I would have all the information there is about them on the internet. Platforms like Tinder would be outdated. Sitting on the train and scanning the nice guy opposite. Oh crap, married, 5 children, so you can save yourself the trouble of flirting. But fortunately, we are not there yet, even if it makes it clear that theoretically we could already do it. In summary, you can say that both devices are at the forefront when it comes to AI functions and have a lot of cool things integrated. As I said, no wonder some of them are even developed together. For people who like to write digital notes, for example at work, I can only recommend Samsung's own Notes app. You can do so much with it that I'm planning on making my own video about it. In any case, some AI features have also been built into the Notes app. You can convert your handwritten notes, which you can make with your S Pen, into TypeScript in one fell swoop and either have them formatted or even summarized. I tested the latter and it works incredibly well. Google's own Notes app, on the other hand, pales in comparison. Not only because it doesn't have a pen, but because you can really only take notes, nothing more. What many have probably been waiting for is the camera comparison. I could now read you all the specs of the cameras and tell you where more pixels can be found here and there. But we have noticed a few times now that the stats on paper are not always right. That's why I invite you to simply look at the comparison of the following videos and images and decide for yourself which device performs better in which category. Because that's what counts in the end, whether you like the recordings better or not. Personally, I think that both devices sometimes perform better and sometimes worse. But all in all, they take extremely good photos and videos. So here too, you can't go wrong with either device, and it's probably more personal taste that decides which of the two devices emerges as the winner in the comparison. And that's exactly the conclusion of today's video. Both devices are flagships and both devices have a lot to offer. In my opinion, the biggest noticeable difference is when it comes to the battery and the price. The Pixel 8 Pro simply costs €350 less than the S24 Ultra, and I think that has to be taken into account. So you get two almost identical smartphones with a price difference of €350. You have to think about that carefully. After personally using the Pixel 8 Pro as my daily driver for the last 4 months, it is now being replaced by the S24 Ultra, and I am looking forward to using it. But I wouldn't have had any problem at all with continuing to use the Pixel 8 Pro because for me it doesn't miss anything in everyday life compared to the S24 Ultra. But to quote the great philosopher of our time, Barney Stinson, new is always better. And that's why the journey continues for me with the S24 Ultra. I hope you liked my comparison between the S24 Ultra and the Pixel 8 Pro. If so, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because this helps my channel to grow. Friends, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye and see you next time. Mwah.